So really quickly about Dave Choe, I could go on and on about Dave and talk about him all day, whether it's how he made his fortune gambling on doing art for the Facebook studios and them giving him stock, which made him a multimillionaire. Or I could talk about Dave's show on Vice, his hitchhiking show. Or I could talk about Dave's art and his paintings. I could talk about Dave's philosophies. There's a lot to be said about David Choe. But the thing that I admire most about him is that through all of that, becoming a multimillionaire, being the highest paid artist in the world, he still has a soft spot for comic books. And that is awesome. But when Dave was 19, he came out with a comic book called Slow Jams. And I've actually never read Slow Jams until this recording. And we're going to read it together. So this is my first time reading Slow Jams, and maybe your first time reading Slow Jams. It's such a rare comic book that we should be thankful anyone scanned in a copy of it. Not only that, but that the copy, while not the greatest, I actually had to hook up my laptop to my TV just to be able to read it. The printing of it and the way it's worded is very awkward. Some of the words are messed up on purpose, and that's per Dave's choice as an artist. So please, if I stumble through this and I get some things wrong, I'm reading it all in one sitting because that's all I have time for this week to put out a video, and also it's incredibly difficult to read given the degree to which the DPI was on the scan. I will also not be reading Dave's foreword in it just because I lack time to do so, and there's like a 4-page mini story about the Szechuan twins, sushi twins, something in it. It has nothing to do with the main story. It doesn't really factor in, so you'll have to excuse me for not being able to read its illegibility. Anyway, let's dig into Slow Jams and see what the story's all about. And also, before we do, one last thing. If you've never heard Dave Choe talk before, please, he's on a lot of podcasts on YouTube, on Spotify. Just go listen to Dave talk for a couple hours and get a kind of, solid grasp on his philosophies about life and just how he kind of carries himself. He's a crazy, really far out there, but extremely deep, extremely sensitive artist. And I love him. I think Dave Choe is a fucking brilliant artist and a great inspiration for anyone. So anyways, Slow Jams. Slow Jams by Dave Choe. My pants were around my ankles as I tried to steer the car with my erection, as the music from the original motion picture soundtrack Repo Man blared in the background. It was late at night, early morning, whatever. School had just ended up in Oakland, and I was speeding down the 101 freeway in a rented U-Haul, headed south, back home to the city of Los Angeles. I kept clicking the headlights on and off and was swerving all over the road. At this hour, I had all the lanes to myself. It was pitch black outside, and except the occasional headlights coming from the other way, and the billion stars illuminating the sky, so when I killed the lights, it felt like I was floating in space. This is me, Dixon Ticonderoga. Yeah, like the fucking pencil, but I'm over it. I was born and raised in Los Angeles and had only moved up to Oakland 2 years ago to make jewelry for recording artists on a hip-hop label called Killaho. That's me hard at work. So here I was, making 24 karat solid gold, 15-pound, four-fingered rings and necklaces of Mercedes-Benz symbols for folks who like to thieve, pimp, and murder during the week, and then record themselves rap about it in the studios on the weekends. It wasn't too bad. I was making good money and meeting interesting people. Most of the Killaho folks weren't as ruthless as they made themselves out to be. It was mostly hot air, exaggerations of the truth. Most of them would be crying out for their mama if they ever got thrown into the back of the squad car. No one to play hard to when there's no audience around, except for the boys in blue. They were just trying to make a buck like the rest of us. So I was doing that part-time and going to school part-time. The Killaho family. 24 karat gold diamonds embedded in a hunk of solid gold the shape of an Uzi. During my stay up north, I didn't keep in contact with any of my friends or family, and now that work had slowed down and summer was here, I was more than anxious to get home for a good home-cooked meal, kick in it with my boys, and play with the beautiful LA women. Between LA, Melrose, and Martel. Home. The weeks passed by, uneventful. Nothing had really changed. Work, shit, sleep, the capo all fine. I got a one-bedroom, communal bathroom, one-kitchen apartment in Koreatown on Van Nuys and 3rd that faced a busy intersection and always smelt like burnt bum piss toast. I had free food and board at my parents' house, and it's not like I wasn't happy to see my folks again. For about the first 10 minutes I was fine. After that, I was racking my brain. All that free shit can't compare to my mom's nagging. Clean it up! And my pop's daily arm wrestling challenges. Like every other motherfucker I know. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Or out of life, too. I was already 24 and I wasn't getting any younger. No steady pay, no car, no girl, no hobbies, besides whacking off and getting off my face. I wasn't even getting any sleep. I became some kind of insomniac, staying up all night, for no reason getting nothing done, and then becoming totally useless during the day. My record was 5 days straight without any drugs or coffee. That week, I took a lot of showers and baths, and chewed all my food 20 times and wouldn't start on the next bite until all the previous food in my mouth was all gone. Plus, I did a lot of jogging in place and tried out different ways to walk down the street. You see what kind of folks are up at this late hour. But most nights, I'd sit by the window that faced the street and felt the cool calm in the night that would soon be gone by morning, when morning came. And cars honking, gray smog shit, filled skies, and the unbearable LA heat, hotter than the 7th level of hell, would beat me silly. So I'd just sit there and enjoy and become totally aware of my surroundings. I'd watch the cars pull in and out of 7-Eleven. Only when the sun started to show his ass would I get somnolent and start to nod off. Most days when I turn in, it's like I've been up for so long that I use jewelry and just lay there on the floor and try to catch up on some reading, but most of the time I just stare at the ceiling trying to collect on all my thoughts. Some would manage to escape my mental grasp, but I'd get most of them. The mundane ones were always the toughest, but I kept a lot of permanent markers around so I could jot shit down. For the last 10 years, the last thing I did before I went to sleep was beat myself off. And the first thing I did when I woke up was beat myself off, even when I had lady friends. That night, I didn't have access to any suitable porn, and I had already milked the Victoria's Secret catalog for everything it was worth. I shut my eyes and clicked on my mental masturbation file. I searched through these images for some decent material. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole thing right here, because it's just him beating off and thinking of different girls. And I think YouTube would probably flag it already. This is like at a red line. So we're going to skip past that. Sorry. I wonder if women's realize how much men think about fucking, how much thought and energy is spent trying to get that warm, moist place. I heard somewhere teenage boys think about it every 30 seconds. And it's not only when I see a hot chick. It could be any time, any place. When I smell fresh bread, when someone is cutting fruit, 10 o'clock news, watching two people beat the shit out of each other, getting slapped, pregnant women, fat chicks, ugly girls, disfigured, handicapped. I see a woman trapped under a bridge, so they have to amputate her legs. First thought is, I wonder what it would be like to fuck a legless chick. And then next would come a look of concern and, oh, ow, awful. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll only think about it for a fraction of a second, like a speeding car passing by. And other times, I'll think long and hard about it. If I try really hard to block it out and focus on other tasks at hand, I'd still have to sleep sometime. And it would all come out into dreams. Doesn't matter if you're the president or a doctor or circus midget. If I don't touch it for a week and save it up, I could hit you in the left eye from across the room. I'm out. 8 a.m. I wake up to the sun coming, sunlight all over my napping face through the window. Outside, cars were honking and bumping by. This idiot, I think his name is Nat, used to always eat Skippy out of the jar with a dirty spoon walking down the street. My white punk rock ass, trust fund baby neighbors, upstairs that listened to horrible music and did horrible drugs and romance dreams of really being poor and oppressed one day, were in a heated argument with my black drug dealers, crack baby neighbors downstairs, who sat on the corners all day doing God knows what, pretending like they were Ice Cube, thinking everyone should bow down to them. Dogs barking. It felt like the hottest day on earth ever, just like yesterday. They should really do something about that ozone business. I was sleeping on the wood floor naked, starting to enter reality from all the fucking sweat pouring down my face. The phone rings. I couldn't even if I tried. I let the machine pick it up. That's what there was for. That's what it was there for, to assist humanity. It's Ian. He's back. Ian was like a brother to me. We went way back. He even lived with my family during the end of high school when his parents passed away. It was hard on him, but he's a tough kid, a real trooper. Plus, he's really smart, funny, and charismatic. I love the guy, but I hadn't seen him in years. He was going to some liberal arts school back east on a full scholarship and selling dope on the side. Ian's a white dude, but as far as I can remember, he'd only date Asian women. It's sort of ironic because I'm Asian, and I've dated Mexicans, Israelis, Italians, almost everything but Asian women. And it's not that I don't like Asian women. I love them. But it gets even more ironic because all the Asian women I've ever been interested in are only into white guys or black guys. Actually, that's sort of bullshit. There was this Filipino girl once in high school I really liked a lot, and people told me she was interested in me, but back then, we were so damn shy. We waited forever for someone else to make the first move. Well, that move never came, and I guess we both went our own ways. Yeah, I know it's sad, but so are most people I meet. Take a drink here. Ooh. I guess the guys are thinking they're getting some quiet, petite, exotic, gentle, subservient, smooth-skinned geisha doll. And the women thinking they're getting some tall, hairy, wide-eyed liberal that's not going to treat them like their old Asian boyfriends or remind them of their cruel fathers who treat them like slaves and order them around. I guess everyone's in for a big surprise. So any fucking way. Ian leaves a message to meet up tonight at Jenny's house for dinner. Jenny Kim is Ian's girlfriend. They've been together since high school. He even had to fight her big black carjacking ex to get her. Anyhow, I'm also good friends with Jenny, so I'm very excited about seeing them both. This call inspires me to get up. I shave, take a 30-minute ice-cold shower, get dressed, clip on a tie, and pick up the paper on my way to Israeli Chinese deli down the street called Shalom Hunan. I throw out everything but the sports and business section and look through them over lunch. The food is horrible, and I have no interest whatsoever in sports or business, but sometimes I like to feel important, like a man instead of a boy. After lunch, I check into my account at my ATM, 7326. I take a bus downtown and purchase a semi-expensive collarless dress shirt at some depot store. And I put it on over the dress shirt I'm already wearing. I'm making a bold fashion statement. I go into John's Market and I purchase 2 peaches, 2 nectarines, mint gum with flavor crystals, and my horoscope. I'm a Taurus. Don't fuck with these horns. It says I'm going to make clever, thoughtful decisions this month and get laid. I go back into the market and exchange the mint gum for blackjack gum. I feel better already. This is a bust. You're all under arrest. I go into some slimy massage parlor and get a shiatsu massage. It's really bad. After she's done, she sort of asks in her own way if I want my dick sucked. I tell her I'm a cop and leave without paying. On the way home on the bus, the sun is just starting to go down, but that didn't stop the moon from making an early appearance. There's a loose thread on my shirt. I end up ripping off both of the sleeves on my dress shirt, and I start doing monkey flaps on the handrails inside the bus. When I finally exit the bus, about a dozen kids jump out from behind some bushes and tag all over the bus and then run off. The bus then moves on into dawn like it ain't no thing. I love LA. Night. It's a cool blue LA night. For some reason it feels surreal and magical. It almost seems like it's gonna rain. That'd be really nice. I love the rain, like most miserable people I know. I had taken a nap after I got home, and it looked like I was going to be late for dinner. So I just grabbed some Dickies Vans, and the t-shirt I had on didn't smell too bad. Popped the post-high school zit on my forehead, and was out the door. That's fucking gross, Dave. Jenny lived about 5 blocks away, so it wasn't too bad. Plus, it was a nice walk. I'd throw in on a hip, skip, and a jump, or the latest dance move whenever I could. I love to go on solo walks. The most miserable people I know. Excuse me. When I arrived at Jenny's, nothing could have prepared me for what was about to happen that night. Something would happen that night that would affect how I live and breathe for the rest of my life. Jenny and Ian answered the door. I gave Ian a half-shake, half-brother hug with a kiss on his shaved head. And I gave Jenny a full bear hug and a kiss on her cheek. It was a good time for all. It looked like it just wasn't going to be us 3. Jenny invited all of her friends from work and was having a full-on dinner party. I need a drink. Jenny was currently enrolled at the Trendy Health something juice bar. So most of her friends, all her roommates that were coworkers and managers, Jenny quickly introduced me to most of them. It sounded like most of the people there were all talking things of different types of folks that came in that day. The jogger with Weird Al hair and bicycle shorts made of spandex, with the apparent hard-on, the fine-ass silicone models, and all the other freaks and weirdos, all the while getting off their faces from a 6-foot bong in the living room while listening to the music from the original motion picture soundtrack of Good Burger, alternating with the one Bob Marley song they know on repeat in the CD changer. Crackling stupid wee jokes and such. They were basically a bunch of oxymorons. Working in health stores by day, a bunch of fucked up, cracked out pseudo hippies by night. Plus, it looked like they all got their personality Xeroxed at Kinko's. And Dave's over here, passes judgment in 3 seconds. Wow, whoa. So while the whole juice people, camaraderie was going on, Ian was trying to catch up with me, but I was off in another world. I wish you were there. You had to see these things. Unfucking believable. My eyes and mind were on a girl I had just met a brief moment ago. Her name was Yunmi, and that's all I knew about her. The whole situation was like trying to have a private moment with yourself in the bathroom or something, and someone keeps knocking. I mean, the whole room was spinning, for Christ's sakes, slow motion and all. It was really fucking intense. Don't you hate it when you suddenly hit with a new idea or angle on life, and you're trying to sort out all the gibberish and mundane thoughts with the abstract pieces and whatnot, and you're caught off guard? Yet it's all really exciting, and all you need is a moment of quiet time. Then some fucker starts you pulling your sleeve, asking you what time it is when there's a fucking clock right next to you. And this is how I felt about being in the same room and planet as you and me. And at that exact moment in time, drift my catch. I was feeling weak in my knees and heart, yet my whole body felt alive and shaken. My spider sense was tingling. I hadn't felt like this towards someone since junior high. It was a long overdue feeling. It's strange how life throws love your way when you look like shit and are totally unprepared. I quickly excused myself to the restroom. I felt bad for brushing off Ian, but not too bad. Many times it was the other way around. Ian loved the girls, and all the girls loved Ian. I rushed into the restroom, hoping you and me didn't get a good look at me, so as I could fix myself up and get a second chance to make a first impression. It was totally a girl's restroom, with 50 different soaps, beauty creams, exfoliators, apricot scrubs, secret strong enough for a man, made just by women, and those Bath Lutha sponge poof ball things. Taking showers at girls' house is one of my most favorite things. I turned on the faucet and splashed some water in my hair and slicked it back. I liked what I saw, messed it up, and combed it over 3 times. The music from the living room was coming through the restroom door. I started to get down on the groove, dancing for my reflection, grinning and pointing shamelessly in the mirror, singing word for word with the top 40 pop song that I was making fun of someone else earlier for listening to the same shit. You listen to that shit? That music is designed for people over 30. I can safely say that moment in the restroom was up there with one of my top 12 most embarrassing moments in my life. When I opened my eyes after the course had ended and I looked at my reflection, I thought I was dreaming, but slowly it turned into a nightmare and I realized it was reality. And I saw Yunmi's reflection behind mine. How long had she been standing there? She wasn't smiling. I just froze, drops of water from my hair falling on my face. She didn't look too amused. When she finally didn't muster up a smile, it wasn't a "you're a crazy lovable guy," the kind I can really get to know and maybe even love smile. It was a courtesy, "you're a fucking loser, idiot, moron, don't talk to me" smile. She slowly backed out of the picture, laughter in the background. Oops. I tried to exit, incognito. But as I walked out, I could feel everybody's eyes on me. But they were too stoned and fucked up off their faces to care for more than 5 seconds. Everyone's got attention deficit disorder these days anyways. Dinner was starting to be served, and Jenny and one of her Cuban roommates made an unbelievable dinner: garlic chicken, fried plantains, black beans and rice, and an exclusive mango shake that they didn't make at the store. While everyone was grinding, you and me was sitting way over on the opposite side of the table, and I tried to shoplift glances of her every chance I got, but I got caught by Ian. He was happy for me and asked me if I wanted Jenny to hook us up. I coolly replied, nah, I got it all under control. Little did I know then that it was the biggest falsest statement I ever made. I need a drink. I think I was in this place that people call love. Fucked if I know. There really was no feeling like coming home from a hard day and having someone there for you, or the other way around. I have absolutely no problem being a house husband. It's something I know I could definitely do. Take care of the kids, carpool, clean the house, clip coupons, play cards, gossip, talk shit with the other house husbands on the block. Spoon me, baby. Maybe start a secret punk rock garage polka band called the Housewives. How ironic, we're all men. Maybe have affairs with the mail lady or pool cleaning women. Just kidding, that's disgusting. And then cook up a special dinner for my wife, who comes home late, exhausted from a long day of fighting her way up the corporate ladder and battling sexual harassment, knowing someone's going to creep into bed with me and spoon me, or waking up to a blowjob. There's really nothing like it. Actually, I can think of one feeling that's on the same level or even more comforting than this feeling. Most people never acknowledge it in their lifetime. They're too busy trying not to be alone. That's right, you guessed it. It's coming home to nobody. I won't even think about it when I'm in a relationship, but as soon as it ends, there they are. And loneliness and pain, him in the middle. Waiting there for nage a trois, just as real as my flesh and blood human body, sometimes even more so. I can remember every detail from one hot summer day not too long ago. I was barefoot on the black top of the basketball courts, sucking all the last bit of flavor out on a big stick, popsicle stick, chewing it into shredded wood slivers and spitting them out. At this point, I saw Maggie coming from around the way, from the other side of the fence. Maggie had been my woman for 3 weeks. Sorry, I'm turning my head here to read this. It was really great. I got to stare at her as much as I wanted to. Without feeling like a pervert, but I liked her for much longer than that. And if you asked me back then how I felt about her, I would have told you I loved her. She was an angel that walked among men. She drove a big car and had a small dog, like most beautiful women. Why is that? I don't know. Actually, I do know, but I'm not going to say. Draw your own conclusions. When I used to go to the airport to pick her up, she flew up to Eugene, Oregon a lot, since her parents were divorced, and that's where her pops lived. He had her every other week. I'd make a big sign that would say I love Maggie, and all the horny single women over 30 and all the bored housewives would start saying how cute I was and ask me if they could take me home with them. Some would even start crying because their husbands would never do shit like that for them. Here's all the women ganging up on Dave. Anyways, she had been avoiding me for the last couple days, and when I was with her, she'd be unnaturally nice and not say much. I even took a real long time designing a personal scavenger hunt just for her since she worked at the mall, and complained about how boring it was all the time. I sent her all over the other stores and parking lot searching for clues for the prize. The final clue led her to the food court where I was waiting with her favorite lunch. She got mad because she said she was going to be late for work. Oh well, I thought. It was a nice gesture. As she was getting closer, she looked a little pale and nervous. When she finally came to me, I touched her hand through the fence and saw that she was crying. She spoke. I'm sorry. I don't want to do this. You're a nice guy and all, and I'm sure you could do much better than someone like me. It's just not working out, and I'm not in love with you. I love someone else. I didn't get it. What just happened? Did what just happened really happen? I thought that was a line from a movie I had once seen, but this wasn't a movie, this was real. And when did all this happen? I demand a time machine. My universe had just came to an end. It was like that time I broke my femur, and even the people in the stands heard it. It was the sound of a big fucking heart breaking. How much louder till my eardrums and gums felt like they were bleeding. Yeah, boo fucking who. Sad stories make me cry too. And with that she said a final, I'm sorry. And she took off. I quickly begged her for one last kiss, and to my surprise, it was granted to me. I ran up to her and received one last farewell kiss. As our lips met through the dirty chain link fence, it felt like forever. And as we drew apart, I could see some smudge from the fence, left a black mark on her upper lip. She looked so stupid and beautiful at the same time, but probably not as stupid as me with my big head turning into a lollipop. That red sucker. How could I ever fooled myself into thinking I could keep a girl like her? But later on my heartache was transformed to spite. Maybe it was not longer ago than I thought. Shit, who cares anyhow? At this time I think of a song I once heard. I'm the only one who laughs at your jokes. Why are they so bad and your jokes always bad, but not as bad as this? There's nowhere to hide. Say you love Satan. Invulnerable, unstoppable. You heard the spiel the first time. Well, anyways, the emptiness Maggie's left in me soon filled me with energy and a passion for life. My whole body, from the deepest pits into my soul and belly, ached with the pain and anguish that I never felt before. I hurt so bad. I felt alive, because nothing dead could feel this much. It really taught me to rely on myself till I didn't need anybody, which is good because, if the truth be known, I can't stand most people. Even if you may think they're nice or whatever, shit, I can't even stand myself most of the time. But over time, I've learned to tolerate and sometimes even love myself. You ask me what makes me so special that I get to judge mankind? Nothing really. Why don't you go learn to fuck off? I feel no pain, better run. And back then he was mindless. So much later on, when I finally entering another relationship, did I realize that I missed the loneliness and pain. Plus I saw what Maggie saw. Because this girl liked me much more than I liked her, and those relationships are doomed from the beginning. Plus everything I ever said and did for her had underlining meanings and false concerns. I didn't really care that her cat got run over. It was all a ploy or a scam to get into her pants, and it worked. Don't be so quick to judge. A lot of people have whole other personalities, hypnotic techniques, and shitty pickup lines running through their heads at all hours just to nail the other sex. Mostly men, though. She'd call it making love, and I called it fucking. When I'm taking her from behind, pulling on her hair, jerking her around like a champagne bottle before it pops, she's all trying to keep her balance like the first time Bambi ever walked on a frozen lake. That's what I call fucking. Anyways, I dumped her. I wasn't totally mean to her. I let her supersize it. When we went to McDonald's, and it definitely feels better to be on the other side of the stick, I quickly returned back to my good buddies. Loneliness and pain. It was better that way. You're not sitting there thinking about her all the time, trying to read their mind, preoccupied with messy and dangerous roller coaster emotions, trying to remember important dates you forgot, our 3-week anniversary and such. Plus, you save a lot of money. Your work, whatever it is, becomes much more clear. I had her since I was... God, I loved her. It's gonna be okay. I'll buy you a new one. You too? Oh my god. I love swing dancing too. You fucking dough. You learn to entertain yourself in and outside of bed, like singing Enigma out loud on the bus or shopping for groceries. Experimenting with elevators, cafes, rooftops, walking, riding. It sure beats making love or fucking for 5 days straight on. So you're a perfectly happy monk, but soon enough, human feeling for companionship creeps in and you start breaking this heart. Different kinds of food and drugs, discovering new tricks, and that you can do with what you can do with a coin, a book of matches, a pack of cards, or your dick and balls, writing short stories about your trip to the laundromat, ordering pure moods and shit of the 80s off the TV, spending a shitload of time at bookstores and record stores. You're up late at night with no particular place to go and nothing to eat or go to the bathroom. Sorry, this is all cut off from the scan. And you get jealous watching bugs fuck on National Geographic, and sooner or later you're getting back in the game, and thus the cycle will repeat. Some say it's better to love and lost than to never have loved at all. Those people should go and try and suck their own dicks. This is where I dwell. After dinner, I saw Yunmi leaving the scene, so I tailed her outside to the front porch. There was a small group of people who had ventured out already to get some fresh air and get a smoke. As I watched Yunmi pull out a cigarette, I was shocked. I couldn't believe someone of such perfection could fall to such vices. I like your shoes. Standing there in the pale moonlight, I just wanted to take her and eat her. Plus, I'd promised myself I'd never date another smoker chick again. But that didn't matter for her. She was the exception to all the rules. Drive her around like Nick Cage in the movie Valley Girl. Suddenly, all those crazy long songs about climbing this tallest mountain for you, or walking 5,000 miles for you, dying for you, and all the other acts of self-mutilation and self-inflicted tests of pain and for love. She caught me staring, started to make sense. She caught me staring at her and walked right up to me and told me to close my bottom lip. I was drooling. And then she was surprised by me saying, I like your shoes. She surprised me by saying, I like your shoes. For the love of God. I just froze up. This girl left me speechless. Right then I heard a horn honking. We looked over. It was some guy in a Pathfinder. Yunmi's face lit up as she started running towards the car with shitlocks. Got out of the car and met her halfway. They kissed each other hard, exchanged some words, and then left together. Take this shit back to the lab. Ian had also witnessed the whole episode from afar. He came up to me and slapped his hand on my back and said, Tough luck, kid. Life goes on. And that was the last time I ever saw you and me. Emto pico nano micromilliseconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months passed by. And she was in my thoughts. At every waking moment and even in sleep. I couldn't eat, think, shit, sleep properly. I even at one point tried dating a girl that looked like her, and that went straight to shit. And if you ever saw Yoon Mi, she wasn't what you call drop dead gorgeous, but she had this kind of aura that made everyone want to be her, friend, lover, anything, just close to her. I just have to take a number and get in line with the rest. What to do? What could I do? Nobody knew I felt this way. I was embarrassed to tell anybody how hard I fell for a girl whose only words to me were, "Close your lower lip," and "I like your shoes." In my home and in my mind, I was slowly losing my mind. How could I want something so bad and have no way of getting it? It seems impossible. Making $1 million was easier than this. I was going nuts. She was all I wanted. I was painting realistic pictures of her with Kool-Aid, whiteout, and cold pepperonis, and making sculptures of how I remembered her that night with macaroni. And I didn't have one artistic bone in my whole body. I never painted anything in my life. I was the guy that took art classes at school so I could catch up on my sleep and meet arty girls. I'd always pay the classes at school. I'd always pay the one artsy dude in class to do my homework. So as I started to create all these works, I started to sketch her, and soon my bold marks started to turn into words, and soon I was out of paper. And I reached for the closet writable surface, which was the extra strength Bounty paper towel, which was the good thing because I was about to pour my my heart and soul out as I wrote these words. Oh shit. Okay, let me get a drink for this. Dear Yoon Mi, I've had the pleasure of meeting you on one occasion at Jenny's Juice Extravaganza dinner party. I was the guy with the nice shoes. Hold on, let me pause for a second. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm actually writing this letter. If you know who this is, I'm very, very flattered. If you don't, let's just forget the whole thing. If you decide to read on, though, I'd be quite honored. I realize you don't know me and I don't know you, but that one moment in time when I saw you has affected me in ways I couldn't even come close to describing. I can't get you out of my mind. Now let's stop right there. I realize this is a really psychotic letter to send somebody, but I have to do this to get some kind of peace of mind. How many times have I been in this second-rate, pathetic relationship where we just settled for each other and compromised our standards because we didn't think we could do any better? That's just plain bullshit. I need to write this letter. This is real. This is what makes life worth living. One day, when I'm old and married with kids and they ask Daddy, "How did you and Mommy meet?" Well, we met at some fucking bar. And all the good catches had already been caught. So I took her home and soon we got used to each other. And after a couple years of that, we started getting older. So we just said, fuck it. Might as well get married so we can get a tax break. And a little while later, we had you fuckers by accident. And that's just straight up bullshit. Maybe I'm reaching here, but fuck. I want more out of life. If life was a banana, I wanted to eat the whole goddamn thing, skin and bones. And then use the waste from that to build isolated adobe bricks. Insulated. Too many miserable people walking around, talking the talk, playing it safe, not taking any chances, not ever walking the walk. That's not me. This was my life, and I only had one. I wanted to shoot the fucking moon. I don't think I could ever rest if I ever made some sort of attempt to try and reach out to you. The first time I saw you, I just knew. Something inside me just went all bizarro. How I've been kicking myself these last few months, wishing I had more time or guts to speak with you that night instead of standing in the corner with my jaw open like some Goomba. From that first night, I said to myself, I want her. And since then, I can't stop thinking about you. You seem so angelic and cool, so at peace with yourself, so smart and sexy, like God took extra special care of you when making you. Shit. I hope this isn't all too corny or freaky for you. Then it's no bullshit in this letter. It is my most purest, most honest thoughts. Since that night, I found myself walking past Jenny's house, half hoping to find you there. I can't even begin to tell you how much it hurt when I saw you that night with your man. My first reaction was, who the fuck does this guy think he is? What has he got that I don't? I want to kill him. I wasn't even anything to you, but I was so jealous that I wanted to kill. Anyhow, during the night I got over it and hoped at least the both of us were in love and happy together. The both of you were in love and happy. You sure looked it, and I hoped that I could at least have the chance of getting to know you and maybe one day be friends. That was okay for back then, but now it's 2 months later and it's all for nothing. I can't handle anything less. I'm sick of all these people saying, let's just be friends bullshit. Torturing the party that's still in love. If you ever want to do someone a favor, break them off clean. Don't call them or nothing saying, let's just be friends. Giving them a glimmer of hope that you have no intention of fulfilling. Anyway, I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. I know it seems stupid and foolish to leave my heart and soul on the line like this, but I didn't get this far in life by playing it safe and smart. So what I offer you now, you and me, is a chance for us to meet one more time. I want to make a date with you that's good for life. On the last day in the month of May at 12 o'clock noon at the Chinese Theater, standing on Clint Eastwood's cement handprints, I will be there. I will also be there that exact day, same day, an hour, the following year, and year after that, and so on till the day I die. When you receive this letter, if you're still going on out with this guy, you probably still with him. But this is just a way out chance that I'm taking to be in your presence one more time. No pressure or anything. I might find that you are not who I thought you were, and that just this image of perfection that I've created in my head, and you'll shatter all my thoughts of you, and I'll be crushed and one day get over it. Or you may find that I'm a complete Nimrod and have nothing to do with me. And that's fine too, but it could go the other way. But we'll never know unless you take that chance for me and for yourself. Because there's just too many people walking around this planet with missed opportunities saying maybe, and I don't know, and one day I'm gonna. Alright, that's all I've got to say for right now. I know it's a lot to digest, but please give it a chance. If you're completely freaked out, or just burn the letter if you think it's hilarious, you can go show your boyfriend and say, you're so lucky to have me, and trust me, he is. Guys, I don't even know, are falling down head over heels for me. And have a good laugh at my expense. If you think the letter's threatening and I'm some kind of sicko, give the letter to the police and have them arrest me at the time and date I gave you. Whatever you do, I hope you take that chance. Sincerely, Dixon T. P.S. Once again, I realize this isn't the conventional way of getting to know somebody, but then again, I don't think you're any conventional woman. Never before in my life have I had an urge to write a letter like this to anyone ever. I put the letter in an envelope and sent it off to Jenny's with instructions to find Yumi, and that in another envelope, and I gave it to her. Yumi's best friend is Jenny's roommate. She calls me 2 weeks later and we talk about this and that. She tells me she delivered the letter. Yumi is going out with this guy named Red and that they're in love and have been going out for 2 years. It doesn't faze me. She'll leave him for me. She then asked me what was on the letter and that she didn't know we knew each other and whatnot. I hang up and let the machine pick up when she redials me. That's what they're there for. I'm not home, fucker. Beep. GNR playing in background. Last day of May, year 1. The tension, the fear, and excitement of the unknown is in the air. I shower, shave, dress, get flowers and chocolate, and go to the designated spot and wait. At the Main's Chinese Hollywood Theater in California. I've actually been there. After midnight, I give the flowers to some teen runaway hooker and end up going back every day that week, just in case she misunderstood. Last day, year 2. Ditto. Last day of May, year 3. Ditto, except I didn't come back every day that week. I'm starting to memorize all the stars on Hollywood Boulevard Walk of Fame. Last day of May, year 4. Ditto, wait. I think I saw her. Nope. I guess my eyes are playing tricks on me. Last day of May, year 5. I'm almost 30 now. I graduated from college with a bachelor's degree in masonry. I have a nice car and I make a lot of money, and I got a small white dog named Gesso. And you guessed it, I'm miserable like most people I know with too much money. I owe it all to her. I started making hundreds of sculptures of her, and people were buying them like hotcakes, even buying them before I even made them. Today is the 5th year that I've waited, if I'm not mistaken. I somehow know she's not going to show up today. I just want some lovesick boy back then, or I was. But that doesn't matter anymore. It's like when you go out with someone long enough and you get real familiar and comfortable with them, that even if you hate their guts, you stay away. You stay anyways afraid of change. This was not as bad as that, but pretty bad. It became more like a ritual or a tradition like Columbus Day. Something that we keep celebrating even though we know it could be wrong, but there was an upside to it all. I picked up a trick that no one else in the world can do. I memorized every single star's handprint at the Man Chinese, from Bruce Lee to Michael Keaton. It's become a fetish of mine to stare at people's hands and guess which stars handprints they'll fit into. I'm never wrong. It says Charles Lofton. I think it's an uncanny power that I've been blessed or cursed with, but the tourists really loved it, and sometimes they even pay me. Wow, look at those hands, Bruce Willis all the way. So I get up early today, as usual, do some push-ups, and get some breakfast at Cantor's. By noon sharp, I'm there on the dot. Not too early, not too late. What happened next to this day, I can't believe. I must have been dead or dreaming. She was standing there. Can you believe it? Maybe she forgot all about the letter years ago, and it was just 1 in a million chance, because I knew I couldn't. That she just happened to be at this exact spot at this exact time on this tiny planet. She smiled. I spontaneously combusted. What the fuck was going on? Hey, it really does happen. I quickly stopped, dropped, and rolled, immediately got up, and patted out any remaining flames. The tourists clapped and took pictures. The flash bolts from the cameras added to the ambiance of this whole uncanny situation. This wasn't happening. I was just standing there in burnt toasted clothes with ashen soot on my face. Then the sea of tourists just parted, and she was standing there. I slow motionly floated to her, and a tear rolled down her face, and then mine. And then she spoke. But it wasn't like the way you or I speak. It was like music. The first year I got the letter, I came out with my girlfriend just to see if you were here for real. We hid in the background. I was pleasantly surprised when you did show up, but that was it. Soon it became a holiday or ritual like Christmas or Thanksgiving. As years went by, I witnessed your strong will and determination after constant defeat and let down as a bystander. I started to develop feelings for you, like the way some people do with TV soap characters. I even began stalking you. She said, stalking. Those were her exact words. That explains so much. I wasn't being paranoid all those times I thought someone was following me or stealing my trash. After being in out of so many unmeaningful relationships and being burned, I really found solace in your letter. I've read that thing so many times. It's lovely. It's barely holding together. You're the constant in my life. You're the only real thing in my life. I quickly grabbed her hard before she had a chance to fade away into some daydream hallucination, or before I caught on fire again. I bit down hard on her lower lip till I was bleeding, just to make sure one last time I wasn't dreaming. We smashed our faces together, and our bodies entwined like chocolate and caramel. Our teeth clicked together hard, and it hurt so good. She kissed me, and I went to pieces. The taste of blood and tears filled my mouth. We stayed like that till the sun went down, like those big red commercials. Less and less people went by till we were all alone. We had goosebumps from the night chill. Our knees and legs had gone wobbly, and our arms were cramping up. But I blocked it out. I'll say it again. It hurt so good. I wanted this moment to last forever. If I squeezed her hard enough, maybe I could squeeze her into my soul, and we could become one entity. My mouth, tongue, and face felt like it had just run a marathon, but the fire never died down, only crescendoed. Sounds of lip smacking filled the night. We both pulled away and saw our dirty, tear-soaked faces. We were both crying, but both smiling and loving each other more than life itself. She started to say something, but couldn't quite put what she was feeling into words. It was all right. I felt exactly the same way. We relayed telepathically. It was like, I don't want to be human anymore. I want to get more metaphysical. I don't want to open doors, or drive, or walk, or talk, or go to the toilet, or deal with money, or anything. I just wanted to be with her forever. Our faces crashed together again, like two cymbals, as passion took over, and she began to literally suck my face, sucking my eyeballs like they were golf balls. They felt like they were getting ripped out of their sockets. Sucking and licking my nose hard, so hard that she was sucking blackheads off the tip of my schnoz, and sticking her tongue up my nostrils, licking up boogers, biting my cheeks and lips. She was eating me alive. It was amazing. It hurt so good. Next came a blinding white hot, numbing pain straight to my nuts in my crotchness. Fuck. It hurt so bad. She must have kneed me really hard. It was really quiet for 1 second, and then I thudded on the ground. I couldn't feel anything from the waist down. Then came her screaming and yelling, a sick maniacal laugh with blood and boogers all over her mouth. The pain, the everything, it was unreal. From the parking lot comes a short, stocky figure. Even without the shit locks, I can tell it's her boyfriend from that first night. I can smell the mota and beer coming from his way. All the way near the box office, he walks up to her and kisses her deep, all the while never taking his eyes off me. He puts his arm around her, and then she speaks. Once again, it didn't sound like you or me, or sweet music. It was like a quiet storm. I never came out to see you, you pathetic piece of shit. You think I'd ever go out with someone like you? You're a joke. People like you make me ill. Boyfriend comes up and stomps his foot down hard on my privates. I'm dead. She's still talking, but it sounds so far and distant as the two of them stare into each other's eyes as she addresses me. Red and I are moving out into a new apartment. When we came across your letter, after reading it, we had sex. We decided to come out as a joke just to see if you really showed up. Red's really protective of me. He gets really jealous of the volume. The volume of life fades out as I hear the sound of my heart breaking into a billion pieces. Yes, it had been broken before, but after open heart surgery, it was stronger than ever. But this time, I don't think it was 'cause I'm coming back. I'm dead inside. The unbearable pain coming from my crushed, bruised, and battered private was so little compared to the pain inside that I no longer felt anything at all. The frequency of her horrendous voice started to come back into my spectrum. And so we're going to give you a night you won't forget. These are the sickest, most fucked up people I've ever come across. They deserved each other. They were worse than villains from the 60s Batman TV show, where they explained to Batman how they're going to kill him, and instead of doing it, did what happened earlier today. Ever happen? Red steps up to me, and I don't have any fight left in me at all. I openly receive what was coming my way. The steel-toed boot comes like a tree falling in some forest somewhere. I can feel wind passing through where my front teeth used to be, the taste of my tooth debris against my other tooth, lips, gums, the insides of my cheeks sending goosebumps all over. The steel toe comes up again hard, the bridge of my nose goes down, and I'm out. I don't know how long I was out, but when I come to, I was in the trunk of a car, wrapped tightly in saran wrap. The shit's impossible to break. I can hardly breathe. It's not like I really wanted to anyways. Soon the automobile stopped the truck, opened, and Red and one of his big goon homies that looked like Brutus from Popeye hoisted me out and threw me to the ground. If anyone was watching, it would look like two guys kicking a giant cocoon. I looked around. I was at the La Brea Tar Pits. I hadn't been here since I was a kid. Right next door was the Los Angeles County's Art Museum. They were having a retrospective on Piet Mondrian this week. I started to daydream. I'm running through the exhibit. Red is right behind me, and he pulls out a pea shooter and shoots me right in the back of my head. I fall face first to the clean, polished museum floors. My dark red blood splatters all over Mondrian's tight, geometrical paintings. It's a ridiculous dream. Why would I even try to run? The endless parade of boots comes to a stop, and I can see and hear their heavy breathing. Red speaks for the first time tonight. So you think you can fuck my girl behind my back? Was this guy serious? I started to laugh. He pours dirt down my throat. I know you've been fucking her, so don't even try and bullshit me, bitch. Deal with that bitch later. So do you love her? Does she tell you she loves you? Did you fuck her in my own house? Did you fuck her in the ass? What's the matter, bitch? Aren't you gonna stand up for your woman? Come on, tell me how she likes it. Come on, tell me how you love her. Come on, say it. Tell me you want it up the... Come on, say it. Say it. Long pause. Alright, bitch, you ain't going down for your shit. Bitches like you get beat down LA style. During this melee of words and rants, Fred and his boy were slapping the back of my head every other way, every other word, and spitting on me every time enough saliva had built up in their mouths. His boy Brutus pulled out a cigarelli and put it up what was left of my nose and pissed all over my face. It was refreshing. So like I was saying, I hadn't been to the tar pits since I was a kid, and it was the only part of LA that had been around longer than 100 years. It's funny to think millions of years ago, dinosaurs and mammoths were roaming around Hollywood. And during the 50s gang wars, up until now, how many dead bodies have been thrown in the tar and never been recovered? The last time I was here, my dad threw me over the pit and would catch me at the last moment. He did the same thing at the Grand Canyon. I even shit my own pants. In grade school, some kid once asked me, would you rather drown or burn to death? And if you drowned, would you rather drown in a pool of piss or a pool of shit? Today I was going to get it all. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I was going to be a great death after all the misery I've lived with. The last years of my life, this was the only way to top it all off. This was my cherry on top. As they carried me to the pit, I smiled wide. I must have looked cartoony since my front teeth were out. Too bad no one was around to witness this tragic comedy. The best comedy always is. Any last words, bitch? My mind raced to find something clever and epitaph-worthy to say, like Mel Gibson in Braveheart, or my train of thought came to a stop. A bright light hit my eyes. They dropped me halfway into the tar and took off, the guard chasing after them. Shit, run, fool. I try to crawl into the soup, caterpillar style. The guard comes running back and says, you guessed it. I'm getting too old for this shit. I need a paramedic. He yanks me out and calls 911. Within minutes, the whole fire department is there trying to keep me on, but every chance I get, I attempt to jump back in. Finally, they strap me down and throw me in the ambulance and head out to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. The smell of tar and noxious fumes all around me. It was a busy night. The emergency rooms were packed. As I lay on the stretcher being pushed down the hospital corridor, my mind started to run away from my body. I didn't want to go on living for one more second. Life was meaningless now, unless I became a born-again Christian or something, and who wants that? I was just an empty shell, a fortune cookie without the fortune, a fucking zombie. I didn't even look human. Blood, tar, and saran wrap had fused to my body, dry, crusted blood all over. I felt like a huge scab on mankind. The painkillers and knockout juice had no effect. I loathed the idea of getting better and recuperating and then returning to my sad, sorry life. It's like after you've been to a party and you say goodbye to everyone, and somewhere down the road you realize you forgot your jacket and you have to go back and see everyone again. You feel retarded. It's really awkward. Or even worse, someone catches you jerking off and that someone is your someone going to be making an important business proposal to later that day. It'd be like that, but a million times worse. Oh, if only it had gone the other way. I'd be with you and me now, making love, starting a new chapter in my life. But now I've skipped to the final chapter. What a lousy life. Not even 30 years on this crummy planet and nothing to show for it. I closed my eyes and gathered up all the strength I had left, and I tried to spontaneous combust one more time, but no dice. The scalding tar had almost eaten all the way through the restraints. I tried again. This time I launched my body off the stretcher, ripping the restraints, and just took off running like the toxic Avenger, knocking whatever got in my way, pushing, kicking, gunshot victims, fuck 'em all, life sucks. It was all for nothing. The security guard at the door that was taking a smoke break didn't know what hit him when I clobbered his skull with the fire extinguisher. Pregnant women, people in wheelchairs. I made it out and didn't look back. That was my last chance at life. Death was not too far down the road. I ran straight across the street to 20-story mansion hotel Sofitel. It was 4 a.m, and no one was in the lobby except for the vacuuming guy, and he didn't even seem to notice since he had his headphones on, volume 10. I needed a key to take the elevator, so running on pure hysteria, I took the stairs to the roof access and started to sprint. By level 5, I couldn't believe I was running to my own death. I couldn't believe I was going to commit suicide. It was sort of exciting. My cousin Nicky, who had a little brain damage, tried to kill himself a couple years back. He went out on a crime spree. He went and stole beer from 7-Eleven. And then he went home and took some PCP, what I wouldn't do for some of that good stuff right now, with the beer, and waited for the cops to come and try and kill him. He said he felt like a god, that he could do whatever he wanted when the cops never showed. He went out onto his roof to attempt to fly, but instead he sprained his ankle. It was only 2 stories, and then climbed back up on the roof and fixed tiles and shingles for 8 hours until it wore off. That's when he first noticed that his ankle was actually broken and that he had driven a nail through it to stop the itch. Levels 7 to 15, I laughed my ass off remembering poor Nicky's story. At level 19, I was practically gliding. I started to hype myself up. I wasn't going to look out over the city and contemplate or whatever. I was just going to run out onto the roof and keep running. Get it over with as quick as possible. I'm outside. I'm starting to get sort of light outside. I run up one more flight of stairs to the helipad. I close my eyes, and I take that long, awkward leap. I open the front door access. A silent alarm goes off somewhere. Into the unknown. The afterlife. There's a strong, bright light shining down on me. I have my eyes closed, but I can feel and see the bright heat through my eyelid. Shit. Hell feels a lot like LA. I guess LA really was hell on earth. I open my eyes and I have a top view of the hospital. I look up, I see the helicopter pad. I look down and around. I'm standing on the balcony of the penthouse suite. Jesus Christ, nothing's broken. I guess I'll start off where I left off. If you can't get it right the first time, try again. Second time's the charm. I stood up there and looked at all the insignificant specks down below. Aw, fuck it. She's not worth it. Jesus Christ, what the hell am I doing? Look at yourself. This is ridiculous. This feels all wrong. It's like a bad joke. I'm trying to be something I'm not. Yeah, drink here. Oh, man, that was a lot. I hop down to the balcony and slip through the sliding door. Nobody is home. I look at the clock. It's 9 in the morning. I shower and order room service under an unreadable signature. And I put on an expensive Armani suit and sprayed on some Calvin Kleins. Just the world is getting smaller, better. Grab an expensive pair of women's sunglasses for my mother, grab some loose bills, take a shit on the bed, and leave the porno channel on the highest volume as I exit the room. I see little Indian kids running around. I get on the elevator with a goofy teenage bellboy. I ask him what was up with the little Indian kids. He says, Omar Sharif and his whole family are staying at the hotel. He's got some speech this morning or something. He's staying in the penthouse suite. They're lousy tippers. I gave him a 20 from Omar's jacket and tell him not to spend it all in one place. His voice cracks all over the place. Thank you, sir. On the way out of the hotel, I spot Omar at the front desk with his wife. I go up to him and introduce myself. Hi, I'm Richie Cunningham III. Are you Omar Sharif? Oh my god, it's really you. I'm your biggest fan. I own all your records. Omar looks confused. Why, thank you. Would you like an autograph? While he signs a piece of hotel stationery, he says, I like your taste in clothes. Thank you, I reply. I take off his wife's sunglasses and hand them to her. I think you dropped these on the elevator. She says, why, thank you. I've been looking all over for these. Omar sees the tired eyes on my fucked up face and hands me the signature. Here you go. Say, you don't look so good. Maybe you should go get some rest. I smile my cartoon smile, and I lightly slap him on the cheek and tell the fucker, I got miles to go before I sleep, and plant a big sloppy kiss right on his lips. It's gonna be a good life. And I was out.